A couple of weeks ago, I made a video where I attempted to survive for as long as possible in Subnautica, while a layer of lava slowly chased after me attempting to kill me. As it turns out, there are a ton of incredible behind-the-scenes secrets and amazing details about the lava rising mod that I didn't get to show off in that video and I'd like to show you right now. But before we do that, this mod is available for free right now in my Discord server for all of you to play. So if you'd like to check it out, click the link at the top of the description right after watching this video. But without any further ado, let's jump right in. We're here today in this perfectly normal Subnautica world with nothing out of the ordinary going on right now, and what I'd like to do in this video is basically cover everything I know about this mod so that this can act as a guide for anybody who wants to play it or do challenges with it, but also so that anyone who is unable to play mods is still able to experience the mod in the fullest way possible. So in order to do that, I'm going to be splitting this video into several different chapters that will each cover a certain aspect of the mod. Let me get started by explaining how this mod was even created in the first place. I believe the initial idea for this mod came from the fact that a similar thing has been done in other games, specifically in Minecraft. But to be honest, the idea just kind of randomly popped in my head at some point. After planning a bunch of things out, this is where the amazing creator of this mod, Lee23, comes in. You may recognize him as he is currently working on the Gargantuan Leviathan mod and has made a ton of super cool mods in the past, like the De-Extinction mod, the Blueburn Blaza mod, and much more. He was able to deliver to me everything I asked for, but also so much more that I hadn't even thought about. Like seriously, he had so many great ideas that fit perfectly with my ideas, and it just ended up working out really well. Next up, let's break down some of the basic mod settings and commands, because there are some pretty cool things about this mod that I didn't even have turned on in the initial video. But before we do that, you should seriously subscribe. I spend a ton of time making these videos, so I would really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for everything you do. Now back to the video. For the first setting, we have the ability to actually turn the lava on and off pretty much as expected. Next up, there's the ability to set the lava to whatever level you'd like. Now, as far as I understand, although there's a limit to how far the slider can go, there's basically no limit to what you can set the lava level to, because you can instantly set the lava to a certain level through the set lava level command followed by a number. So you can literally set the lava level to 9 billion, although there is a limit to how far the player can actually go. The number following the command needs to be negative if you want the lava to be below sea level and positive if you want it to be above sea level. There's also the change lava level command, which works exactly the same as the first command, except the lava will slowly move to whatever level you set it to at whatever movement rate you've also set the lava to. This can be used to easily create challenges by setting the lava to an initial level you want it to start at, and then using this command to get it to move to another level, so that's pretty cool. It's extremely important to note with these commands that when you make a change to a command, it will not show up in the mod settings. So if I set the lava level to a certain value, it will not show up here on the slider, and this is applicable to every other command as well. Next up, we have the option to let the lava affect the environment or not. It makes a lot of sense to leave this on because otherwise creatures would just kind of swim through the lava like nothing is going on. This would only kind of make sense for the sea dragon and maybe a couple of other creatures, but even then it still doesn't really make a whole lot of sense when you think about it. Sea dragons can breathe fire and all, but it's not like they can live fully surrounded by lava. This next setting allows you to give the lava the ability to pick up static objects like wrecks and rocks or not. Now, this doesn't really make sense realistically to me, but it's still kind of cool. What I've noticed while having this enabled is that the things that float on the lava tend to glitch out a whole lot. They'll usually vibrate a ton and just kind of generally lag the game. So it's a cool idea, but it realistically doesn't work out so well. You're welcome to try it out, of course. The next option is to have the lava start rising upon loading into the world or not. I would honestly recommend leaving this off because it's way easier to just start the challenge manually whenever you'd like, but this is still an option for those who might want it. There's also the command pause auto mode, which basically just turns this setting on and off. To be honest, I don't really know why this exists. Now, we're finally to the point where we can set the lava to a certain speed we want it to rise or fall at. Each number on the slider is equivalent to 1/4 of a meter per second. Once again, although there is a limit to the slider, there's no limit to what number you can actually set this through the command lava move speed followed by a number. The number in this case represents 1 meter per second as opposed to 1/4 of a meter per second. As you might imagine, this can be used to get the lava moving at some incredibly slow rates, but also at some ridiculously fast speeds. It's honestly kind of funny because the entire crater can be swallowed in a matter of seconds. And in order to have the lava level fall, just simply enter a negative number. Having the lava level lower definitely isn't as cool for challenges, but it's still an option. Now, we have the ability to set an upper limit we want the lava to stop at. This can be extremely convenient if you want the lava to stop at a very specific location. For example, if you wanted to stop at the top of the mountain island, you can set the value to 155. Once again, you can set this number to basically whatever you want through the command lava level max followed by a number. And if you don't want it to ever stop, you can just set the command to an insanely high number. For the next setting, we have the slider for heat distortion strength. As you might imagine, when getting close to lava, your view might start to get a little distorted by the heat coming off from the literal molten rock. So this allows you to set what level you want that to actually be at. I would recommend keeping it at least 1 because going below 1 can cause visual discrepancies in certain biomes. And then finally, we have a setting for whether or not we want to see on-screen messages that appear from typing commands. This is basically just a quality of life thing. Besides these settings, there are a few other commands that I haven't talked about so far. First off, we have the Begin Lava Challenge command, which, as I hope you saw in the initial video, starts the challenge with a screen shaking, a loud noise, and an on-screen message that says the crater is erupting. There's also the command Lava Challenge Duration, which gives you some on-screen information telling you a couple of useful things, including how long it will take for the lava to reach the upper limit, what rate it will travel at, and how to start the challenge. Additionally, there are the commands Stop Lava, which instantly stops the lava, and Resume Lava, which instantly resumes the lava from rising or falling. This is especially useful when you're testing out a challenge or just messing around. You can find a list of all of these commands in the description. And additionally, if you go to the settings, you can find a description of each of the settings and their associated commands by hovering over the desired setting. So next, I'd like to talk about the basics of how this mod actually works, or how you can actually, get lava to rise in an underwater survival game. Now, I'm no modding expert, but from what I understand, the lava is basically just an animated two-dimensional texture that can be set to any level and can move at specific speeds. In other words, the game doesn't actually render the lava beneath the top texture. It's just the very top layer, and when the player camera goes underneath this texture, the mod displays a picture right in front of the camera which gives the appearance that you are actually under lava. You normally only see this in creative though, since in survival you instantly die once your camera enters the lava. That is important to mention because you can actually be standing in lava and not die. The lava has to reach your head, which is where the camera is, before it actually kills you. This entire setup is genius because if the game was rendering all the lava below the top layer, it would almost certainly lag very badly. The lava texture is also repeating, as you can see if you go up very high, which is very similar to how Subnautica's water works. And from what I understand, the lava layer also extends just as far as the water extends. Now, upon having Effect Environment on, the lava instantly kills or destroys anything it encounters, including every single creature, plant, base, and vehicle. Anything that can die or get destroyed gets destroyed by the lava. The whole point of this is to make it so there's no real way to cheese this challenge without glitches. I want to really quickly show you what it looks like when these things get destroyed, so here's a bunch of leviathans getting swallowed by the lava. With most creatures, they basically just do their death animation and then the lava covers them. But with the smaller prey fish, they actually get cooked, which I think is pretty cool. With plants, they basically just disappear because they don't really have a death animation or anything. Here's what happens to each vehicle when you're inside of it and outside of it. And here's what happens when you're inside of a base or the life pod. With bases, the lava actually rises right through them, damaging them in the process and killing the player if they are inside. So if a base gets covered by lava and then you set the lava level beneath the base, it will be damaged and flooding. Also, as you might have guessed, getting too close to the lava causes the player to start taking damage. So during challenges, you'll want to try and keep your distance for as long as possible. One random detail that I've also noticed is that if you go under the lava in your Seamoth or prawn suit while in creative, the temperature on the vehicle's thermometer climbs to about 700 degrees Celsius, which I think is a great touch. And then finally, I want to talk about the lava monitoring device because I guess it technically fits under this section. Now, I showed this off in the initial video, here's what it looks like and everything, but what I didn't talk about is that you can actually craft it in survival with a wiring kit and some copper wire. Additionally, it has the description of a handheld device that shows information related to rising lava levels, contains a sensor that detects abnormal temperature fluctuations with extreme precision. Next, I'd like to show you what some of Subnautica's biomes look like with lava in them. Now, it's important to mention that Subnautica's fog makes the lava look quite odd in many cases. The biomes that look the best are the inactive lava zone and lava lakes because the fog was literally built to look good with lava, but when you go to certain biomes like the Lost River, it ends up looking a little bit more like this. I will say that not all of them look this weird, and the lava tends to look a little bit more normal the closer you get to it. Alright, so I'll just cycle through some of the major biomes and show you what they look like besides the Lost River and lava zones which I just showed you. First up we have the Blood Kelp Zone. This biome is one of the weirder ones because the lava basically doesn't look like lava from a distance since the biome is meant to be so dark and spooky. Here is what the Bulb Zone looks like. Comparatively, this one doesn't look half bad. Next up we have the Crash Zone. To be honest, this biome is definitely one of the best looking with lava in it. Here is what the Void looks like. Unsurprisingly, since it's meant to be so dark, the lava is rather hard to see. This is what the Dunes looks like. This one also doesn't look half bad. Here's what the Grand Reef looks like, and this is what the Jelly Shroom Caves look like. This biome is probably the second best looking behind the lava zone biomes. It honestly fits surprisingly well and ends up looking really cool. Here is what the Kelp Forest looks like, and here's the Grassy Plateaus. These ones also look pretty darn good. Next, this is what the mountains look like, and this is what the Mushroom Forests look like. Here's what the Safe Shallows look like, which is very similar to how the Kelp Forest and Grassy Plateaus look like. This is the Sparse Reef, and this is the Sea Trader's Path. And then finally, here's what the underwater islands look like. With fog off, the lava looks much better, but generally the biomes do not, so you kind of have to make a trade-off somewhere. At the end of the day, it still looks really good in a lot of the biomes, and especially once it overtakes the ocean level. There's nothing we can really do to fix this fog issue anyways. Also, here's what a couple of alien bases look like with lava actually inside of them for anyone who's curious. And here's what the Sea Emperor Leviathan's aquarium looks like. Well, with all of that out of the way, let's talk about some of the interesting things about this mod that didn't really fall into any of the previous categories. This is probably the coolest part of this video, so if you're still with me, you're in luck. The first thing that's pretty cool is that the lava level is shown on the title screen. I don't really know what else to say except that this is a really cool addition. It's seriously something I never expected to see in my entire life. Next, let's talk about what happens to cutscenes with lava rising. Of course, all of the cutscenes in Subnautica play as normal with lava rising. It's just a matter of it looking quite weird. There's nothing too special about the sunbeam animation or the aurora exploding, and you already saw one of the life pod animations, so let me just really quickly show you the other one. Now, the only other animation of interest is the Neptune rocket animation. Contrary to what you might think, the Neptune rocket never actually leaves the planet. So with lava rising, you can just kind of see it in the background even when you're in space, which ends up looking pretty funny. You can see all this much better if you go into free cam. Now, I had a couple of people ask me about what would happen when the Gargantuan Leviathan interacted with the lava, and well, I had absolutely no idea, so I decided to test it out. As it turns out, the Gargantuan Leviathan cannot die. So yeah, he's just kind of casually chilling, swimming around through molten rock. And as Lee23 and I were thinking about all of this lava stuff, he had the idea for a Subnautica-like game where you had a submarine that literally explored under lava. It reminds me a whole lot of Iron Lung, except you would be in lava and who knows what creatures you'd find in it. I don't know, it just kind of seemed like a really interesting idea. And then one final thing. I'm going to be attempting to perfect this challenge and basically get the best possible run. The initial video was basically my first attempt, whereas now I'm going to try and create the best possible strategy and perform it to the best of my ability. I have no idea when it will be coming out, but you can expect it sometime relatively soon in the future. I'd also like to once again remind you that you can download this mod for free right now on my Discord server, so click on the link in the description or the pinned comment to play it for yourself. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.